Hey folks, going to be doing a solo playthrough of the first scenario for Euthia. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Torment of Resurrection. This is going to be a learning game for me, so it might be a little slow, but I have already gone through and done the setup for everything. Um, I have the center tile out there. Off to this side, over here, I've got the scenario board or whatever you want to call it set up with the shop and everything. I'll probably end up zooming the camera out a little bit once I expand the map some, but I thought it might be beneficial to have it zoomed in. I do need to populate the markets real quick, and then I'll show you my player board. So let me populate those markets real quick. So I know what I can purchase when I get to said trading posts. The first scenario is obviously considered an easy scenario. It's only played over 7 rounds, and you basically score points. Object is to kill level 2 monsters. They're going to give you more points, so forth and so on. So let's switch over here to the player board. So I do apologize for the bright light, but there's nothing I can do about it at the moment. I'm going to have to get some sort of shade or something. So you can see that I'm playing Drow. Seemed like a fairly decent character to play. So I'll just do a quick rundown of the player board here. In the center, you have your life. So you can see at the top of the red here, 7 is my maximum starting life. So I'll put my life token there, and then I put this token here to indicate this is where my life is at, so 7. So I have a maximum of 7, and I'm currently at 7. So as I lose life, this thing will drop down, and then as I increase my maximum, this will go up. And apparently I can go up to 29 health. So there's that. Down here are my action tokens section. I have 3 action tokens. I have some more off to the side. Basically, I will replenish these 3 at the start of my turn. If I have any left over from the previous round, I can save 1. It goes into this spare slot so that I have a potential 4th action I could do on my turn. But I will always have at least 3 actions that I may do. Over here on the left side, these are some of my item slots. So I have my basically my primary hand and offhand, if you want to think about it like that. There are symbols in the bottoms of the tiles, and they have to match the symbols that are in the spots in order to be placed there. So this one just has a sword on the spot for it. So and that tile has a spot. And this is my rusty sword. I'll move this over here. You can see, well, might have to hold it up here. If I can get it to focus, you can see it's a rusty sword. In the bottom left for the coins, it would cost 2 to purchase, 1 to sell, and then damage is over on the right. So if when I roll my dice, if I get between a 3 and a 5, I will do 1 damage. Between 6 and a 10, I'll do 2 damage, and then if I do 11 or higher, I will do 3 damage. So we'll put that back over there in the corner. Tracking gold is over here. You can see that I have that. So this is my starting equipment, but I have 1, 2, 3 slots that don't have a cost associated with them. These all have costs, so I will be able to spend a elemental essence. So this is earth elemental essence, or wind elemental, water elemental, fire elemental essences to unlock these tiles, or I can pay the printed cost of gold. I just moved the thing there. Let's bring that back down. In this particular scenario, I do start off with a healing potion. So at any time, that's what this little symbol. That's kind of hard for you all to see that. This little symbol at the very top, that 4 arrows. That means that can be used in or out of combat. And then the same thing. When I use it, I'll heal myself for 2. I can buy it for 1 and sell it for 1. I have 3 bag slots over here, so that's where I can sort of store stuff in a bag slot to carry it around that I'm not wearing. There are items that you will pick up that will remove these, and there are sort of tokens you can put over top of these to indicate that they're being filled by one of the other items you have. It's sort of limiting how much you can carry, basically. And you have helmet, amulet, a chest piece. These have to be unlocked, so this is cost you 2 to unlock the chest piece, 1 to unlock the greaves. Or not greaves. What would that be? Greaves are the footwear down here. Gauntlets, ring. I don't know what that would be. Knee. I'm not sure what that's called. Pants, I guess. It's not really pants. It just show. Well, I guess it is armor, leg armor, essentially. 1 to get that. I also start with, and I don't have it out here. Let me get them real quick. A couple GAR tokens. I start with 4. That's these slots down here. GAR tokens are used in combat, and they will allow you to re-roll 1 of your die, and then also add 2 to the roll. So you get to re-roll a die plus add 2 to whatever the roll is. You can also use them on an opponent or against a monster, essentially, to force the monster to re-roll, but also minus the maybe the monster does not have to re-roll, but it's a -2 to the roll if you use it in a negative fashion. And then there's gem/essence slots down here. There's 5 of them, and they sort of track, or you can hold 5 gems/essences with you, and they have various uses. So that's pretty much the player board. I've got it all set up. Get my miniature out here, and I'll probably, well, I guess I go through the action. So there's 3 action tokens here. They're split in 2 essentially. So each action token at the top has a number of movement points, and you would spend that token to move that number of hexes essentially. Or you can spend the token for the bottom action, which is going to be an actual action. So one of them is a build, not a build, it's a trade, or mining, sorry. It's a mining action. That's where you're going to be at a natural resource somewhere. I'm going to draw a tile that's off camera for that natural resource to see what I get. I can then take that into a town or something like that and trade it for money, basically. Or it might be something, I might actually find something useful. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked through the tile decks to see what's available as a reward, so to speak. The second one is the trading action, so that's where I would take those rewards, or if I kill a monster and I get rewards and tiles and such like that, I can at a it's like a town, an alchemy tower, or a dragon slayer town, I think are the names of the 3 places I could trade. And then the third action is the combat action that allows me to attack a monster if it's out on the board. On a not out on the board, but if there's a monster token or a monster symbol on one of the tiles I've revealed, and I'm in that hex, I can perform combat with that monster. So those are the main actions that I'm going to be spending these for. There's also free actions. I'll just run through those real quick. One of them is at the church, which is where I start. I can essentially heal. Let me get to them real quick here. There's move. Elementals. Where was it at? There's mining, trade, Combat. Combat. Trophies. Free actions. Visit the church. I can pay a gold to heal 6 injuries, or I can pay a gold to buy a healing potion. Keep in mind, a healing potion only heals 2, but you could use it out in the field, essentially. I can, if I'm on a or a hex that has like a ruin, I could do a find treasure free action where I draw the top tile of the treasure deck, or the treasure tile stack for that particular type of treasure tile or treasure hex, and get a reward. I can confront an elemental if there's an elemental on the hex. I can try to interact with him, essentially confront him to fight him, or I don't know if you want to call it. It's not really. You don't really do combat against them. You sort of just confront them and have to, put them at bay or whatever. Get whatever the rewards or costs are. It's you're technically doing combat, but you're not. It's not like full blown combat, which we'll get to, I'm sure, at some point. You can also fulfill a quest. So some of these tiles will have quests on them, where I will pull out. There will be a deck of quest cards. That I am able to complete to try to complete that particular quest. It's basically going to involve collecting resources, bringing them back, or maybe killing a specific number of monsters, etc. Those are basically the free actions. I'll kind of go through all the rules as I get to them, at least when I first get to them. There's a lot in this game in terms of rules. It's sort of an adventure style game, I guess I would call it. But let's switch over here back to the main overhead view. I've got my character mini out here in the middle. Now you'll notice I'm in the middle of the hex, so my first move will have to be, out into one of these 3 outer hexes, essentially. So there will be tiles that go out on the board that have something in the middle. The Dragon Slayer towns are one of those. There's the Dragon Slayer town essentially covers all 3 hexes. And in order to trade at the Dragon Slayer town, you have to get to the middle of the hex. So you'd have to move 1 into one of the outer hexes and then 2 into the middle hex. Yeah, so I guess let's go ahead and get started. My turn here. Solo game. I'm not really playing against anybody. I'm just sort of just continue to take turns. I know that at the beginning of each round, add 1 silver card to the silver cache. Okay, so that's off script here. I'm going to add a silver card to the silver cache. These come into play in combats. I'll show you how that works when we get there. And combat, perform cast 2. So that's basically it. Yeah, I just play myself, essentially, and I'm trying to score points. Or not points, but kill monsters. So the goal of this scenario is called The Hunt, and the goal is essentially to defeat level 2 monsters. The game round is 7, or the game length is 7 rounds. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started here. For my first action, I'm not going to be doing any combats. So what I'll do is I'm going to spend my combat token, which allows me to have 3. I'll spend my combat token, which allows me to have 3 moves. So I will expend this from my board here. If I can get that to focus again. Come on, guy. It's not going to unfocus. Let's see what I can do. That's the wrong one. I don't want to autofocus. There we go. Good enough for me. Alright, so I will spend the combat one. I'm just going to pull it off my board. and then I have 3 movements. There are tokens to track, like your additional movements. I think I'm going to be able to track it by myself, but if you were to spend, not sure what movements, how many movements you have left, you could do that. So let's move. So on this tile, there is a teleporter. So this, you could teleport back here if as a movement, if you have another portal or if you have a scroll that allows you to do so. But we'll go 1 here. Now, as soon as you move into a space that is not surrounded on all sides by map tiles, you fill them in. So there is a stack of map tiles, about yay thick. This is for the solo game, that you put together during setup. That tells you, for the solo game, it tells you specific tiles that you need to include, but for a multiplayer game, it'll tell you need X number of these types of tiles, X number of these types of tiles, these other types of tiles, etc. So what I would do is, there's nothing here, so I will flip it over. They always go in this orientation, so they always go one way. So and then this one's empty, so I got to flip that and put that there. And then there's one up here that's empty, so I'll flip another tile, and that'll be right there. So now I have surrounded or expanded the map. There's a monster here, level 1 monster there, level 1 monster there. Let's see, I don't think there were any rules about terrain with movements, but the terrain, like for the mountains, is where I could mine. So movements are just, it's just what actions you can do. Movements are still just one move. So I've got 2 moves left. So I can't attack, so I don't want to go. So here's a town I could trade at. I don't want to go here because there's an enemy, so I can't go here because I've already taken that combat action off the board, so I can't go here to actually fight this enemy. And I have to fight that enemy and kill it before I can trade with this. There's another enemy here. There's a teleporter here. There's a treasure tile here. Level 1 enemy here, level 1 enemy, level 1 enemy. These are better rewards over here. Another trading outpost. I think what I'm going to do is come down here and then here with my remaining moves. You can't interrupt your movement at any time. That's another reason they suggest you could use the tokens to track your movement. So I have 1 movement left. So I'll move down here. Now I'm in a mountain space. So I could stop. Well, 1, I've moved into a tile that is not surrounded by all sides, so I've got to pull another map tile out and put another map tile here. Now, I've got 1 move left, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend my mining action. Which is that one right there. Oh yeah, I took the autofocus off. That's my mining action token. I'm going to pull that out. And I will take a mining action there. So I would go to the tile stack. That has the mountain terrain. And I basically just flip it over. And basically this says it has a 3 in parentheses, which means that I would sell this for 3, and it's just a piece of ore. And that's going to go into one of my bags. There's also a star there. Now I got to find out if I get that star is a reputation point, and I need to find out if I get that reputation point immediately or only if I sell it. So let me look that up real quick. Mining. Perform a mining, take the top tile, store it in your sack. Page 28. Items. Item storage limits. Equipment. I think I get that right away. I don't think I have to sell it, but Essences. I know there was somewhere here that lists resources. Locked equipment slots, gems. Where is it? Natural resource tiles. Oh, that's trading information. Okay. Yep. Yep. So that information at the bottom is I only get that reputation star once I sell it. So I also have to put one of my mining tokens down. Or I should, and that goes out on the board. And that's just here. It's just a hexagonal tile. I put that there. Now, I'm not sure if it has any effect for solo play, but or if it's necessary for solo play. But, well, yeah, it is, because I can only mine it once. So it marks that I've already mined it. And then if we were playing a multiplayer game, if somebody else were to go there and try to mine, they would first have to pay me a gold to mine there. Hello, cat. You have to move. Thank you. All right. So that was that. I still have one move, so I'll move over here, and that is a treasure tile. And getting a treasure tile is a free action, but first, I ended my space in a... No, don't chew on the man with the axe. Go away. Or lay over. That's fine. We'll put out some more tiles. Get one there. And then we have to put one more over here. Okay, so... two things came out. One is an event. So this is an event tile. There's a question mark over the guy. So I have to get the deck out for this particular event and get that set up. And then the other thing came out is an air elemental. So I will have to go to my air elemental tile here. And it essentially is going to affect dice rolls in that hex and every hex around it. That's kind of sort of what the symbology is. Essentially allows you to re-roll. I believe it's re-roll. I will have to look that up real quick. But I believe you can re-roll one die or not for free, but it happens regardless. I do believe it's going to be under combat setup. Yep, there it is. Air. If the dice have different values, turn the one with the highest value to... Oh, no, you just flip it to the opposite side. With the highest value goes to the opposite side. That's what their ability does. And then I can confront them, and if I do a certain amount of damage, I can get a certain amount of things. But I'm in the tile, so he would affect me if I were to fight something here. That reroll would affect me because he's right here. So, and then there's another portal up here that I could teleport from there to there, or there to there, either way. I'm at a move. Well, no, I still got to do the treasure tile. So that's one of these tiles. So let's switch back over to here. So that matches the symbol. That back of that tile matches the symbol. And it looks like it is a scroll that gives me a Gar token or acts as a Gar token. This has the cross or the four-way arrows at the top, which means it can be used in and out of combat. Costs me one or sells for one, so I'll put that in there. And then what I will do now, so I'm out of movements. I have one action left, which is I can spend for 2 movements, or I can trade, but I am not in a place where I can trade. I really need to get to a place where I can trade because I need to trade, which means I'm probably probably going to make my way back over here. Can I move there, though, and not fight that thing, or do I have to fight that thing? Let's see. Let's go back to movements. Revealing an encounter. Oh, I got to do the encounter thing before I do that. Move points, revealing new map tiles. Elementals, monster icons. If you move into a hex containing an undefeated monster, you must immediately interrupt your movement and perform a combat action. If you do not have an unused combat action to do this, then you may not move into or through that hex. So I can't go there. I just gotta get closer. I mean, I might as well. Well, let me set up. So I'm going to set up. I'll pause video here for a second so I can get this set up. This encounter that's over here and get that ready. And then I'll come back. So you all won't notice anything, but I'll be back. And I'm back. I have. So the event deck consists of 2 cards plus the number of players, or the number of players plus 2 cards. So I'm solo, so I created a deck of 3 cards, and then you reveal 2 cards and set them out. I don't think anything's different for solo, but let me double check real quick. Encounters. The witch uses special ones. Remove 4 cards at random. How many were in that deck total? I did remove 4 cards, so that was the number of players plus 2, which is 1 plus 2. You flip the top 2 cards, and these are the, you can just barely see that in your view. These are what I have to complete. So for both of these, I have to discard one of these 2 gems or one of these 2 gems, and I get rewards that are in the bottom. Once I complete one, the next one will flip, etc. And they're basically just rewards for me to trade, and some events actually have tiles that you can get, but most of these are going to be gems or essences, that type of stuff, gold, that's useful in that fashion. So, that being said, I'm going to spend my last action, which was the trade one, for 2 moves, but I'm just going to move 1. I'll move just 1 here. And I'll just get ready basically for the next round. So what I will do is go over here. You can't see that, but I'm going to increase the round marker. We're on round 2. The start of that round, I get my action tiles back here on my board. I would refresh any items that I used, which I have not. I don't have any gems that I've used, and then I take my actions. So I'm going to have to move in there and do some combat. And so I can't spend my combat action token. I cannot spend this one. This one is trade, which is what I want to do for sure once I get in there. So I'm going to have to spend this for the 1 move to get in there. That kind of works out. I'm not going to be mining. I need to combat and I need to trade in order to get rid of some of this stuff. Well, I'm not going to get rid of my healing potion, but to get some of this, get some gold, maybe a Gar token. I might keep that for the Gar token. I'm not sure. But get rid of that for sure to get gold so I can start picking up more stuff. So let's spend that for 1 move. And I will move here. Now we'll go ahead and reveal the next tile there that I've got to put in there, and that is that is an earth elemental there, which is also going to have an effect. And he causes, looks like +2 to all combat rolls. I'm just double checking that real quick. Yep, add 2 to the combat value. And that's for both monster attack rolls and at the beginning of each round, we had another silver card that needed to come out. So that's going to be affect both combat rolls. So now we're going to have a combat. I have to spend my combat to attack this level 1 monster. So what we're going to do is, let me go to the solo rules for combat to see if there's anything special. When drawing the monster cards, when the monster card is revealed, any silver or gold cards depicted are added to the silver or added to caches. Replace 4 silver with 1 gold if at the time required. In step B, instead of rolling dice, reveal the top card of the combat deck. Immediately check for the following results. Okay. Alright, so we have to pick a monster. It's a level 1 because there's only 1 sword, so we just draw the one off the top here. Now, let me switch over. Well, yeah, let me switch over here so you can kind of see this as best you can. Level 1 monster card. This is like face down, essentially, so you don't know what's on the actual other side. But you can see over here, it has a health of 3 to 5. It has damage that it'll do to the player, 1 to 3. And then these are the rewards in this box. So if I kill whatever's on the other side of this card, I will get 2 reputation and a silver card. But I only get that if my reputation is between 0 and 15. So basically, if my reputation is over 15, I don't get any rewards from this because this monster is too weak for me to fight, and I'm not gaining anything from it. So let's flip it over and see what it is. It is a gecko. That looks like a crazy gecko. It's going to start with some things. It has 4 life up here. It's going to start with 0 silver cards, 2 chaos tokens, and 0 gar tokens. So chaos tokens it'll use to spend those silver cards. And then when it's dice roll, if it gets 2 to 9, it'll do 2 damage to the player. And if it gets 10 or higher, it'll do 3 damage to the player. So we're going to set that out. We'll put that right there. Now, let's switch to combat here. If I had anything that had a first strike ability, I would be able to use it now. That's a first strike symbol is a lightning symbol. I don't have that, any items or scrolls or anything, so I am not going to be able to do the first strike. First phase is hero healing phase, so I can heal myself if I wanted to spend that potion or a scroll or ability or something. I'm not going to do that. Next phase is monster attack phase. So, I may, this is the monster is essentially going to, gets first attack basically, unless you do first strike. And the phase for the monster attack phase is broken up into a couple different parts. The first one is what's called before the monster attack roll, and there's a symbol with a wolf head and an arrow to the left, so that's like sort of letting you know if you have that icon on one of your tiles or abilities, you can use it at this time before the monster is either going to draw cards if it's solo or another player is going to be rolling dice. I don't have anything that happens at that point, so we will move on. The next one is the monster attack roll. So this is where normally a multiplayer game, another player will be playing the monster, and they will roll their dice and to make the combat roll. But in a solo, there's a deck of cards that have this dice back on them, and you just draw one and then flip it over, and that's the roll. So it's 6 total. So they technically rolled a 1 and a 5. And they're going to get a Gar token, and then they're going to try to use 2. Oh, they had 2 Chaos tokens. Let me get those out real quick to track that. And they also get a Gar token that they can use. So they have 2 of these Chaos tokens. We will put this out. This is for the Earth Elemental. That's to indicate that that Elemental is out there, and that's going to add +2 to the die roll. And then he also got or he could spend a Gar. No, I'm sorry. He will spend a Gar token if he has one. He doesn't. He didn't start with one. We would check She's intervention. If the combat roll is 10 or higher, the She's intervention dice would increase by 1. This is a die that can be used by players. It gives them special things. If it's you spend it basically well, you could spend it 1, 2, or 3 points at a time essentially on the die. It just tracks. Like if the monster does a big hit, it's sort of giving you something you can use later to help yourself out a little more. Then we go to elemental effects. There is an Earth Elemental, which is what the +2 is over there. So his total combat value right now is an 8, which is between 2 and 9. So he's doing 2 damage to me at the moment. Now we have the after attack, after attack monster roll phase, where both the hero player and the monster player can use Gar tokens or play cards. Let's see. Was I supposed to add one into the... No, because he didn't have any. They did not go into the cache. Okay. So I could use a Gar token, or I could use this scroll. I believe that scroll allows me to use a Gar token. Let me double check that real quick. Is that in... Is there a list of scrolls in here somewhere? There is an appendix that has a bunch of useful information. I don't know if they have a list of scrolls. They have potion. There's we go. List of scrolls. Gain 1 Gar. Oh, it just gives me a Gar token. Okay. So, well, I'll do it. I'll spend this Gar token. I'll spend 1 Gar token, but I use it on this side, which means it's negative. So right now that it cancels out this 2 up here. Then I'll go ahead and spend this scroll to get a Gar token back. And that's just going to go into a discard pile. So it gives me 1 Gar token back. So I'm back up to 4. Now let's see. Let's check for solo rules on combats. Step C. Monster attempts to perform 1 chaos action. So for each of those symbols, so there's 2 of these chaos symbols on the monster card, and he has 2 of these tokens. So he's going to essentially spend them both. So we'll spend the first one, and we go to the Silver Cache deck, which is here. And there's 2 cards. There's only 2 cards here. There could be more. But the way that we do this is that we flip this over. Actually, the monster would have done this before I used my Gar token and stuff. So we flip over the first card, and it's a curse. And so we'll flip over the next one. So it's not a curse. It's not the same card. So it basically goes back under. Or no, there's 2 chaos actions, so it just starts a second stack. That's right. Normally it would just go under. So it starts a second stack. So he's going to use the top ability of both of these for both of these Gar token chaos tokens. And so the first one says that my attack is going to be -3 damage, or -3 to my roll, sorry. And then the next one is +5 to his roll. So I can... Does my Gar token... It doesn't make him re-roll anything, I don't think. In solo, at least. Let's look. It says, as per usual, but I can't make him re-roll. Huh. So a Gar token would normally make them re-roll. I may have to pause here and research this a little bit, because these are static dice essentially on this card. Normally spending the Gar token here gets -2 to the roll, but it also allows me to, or forces the monster player to re-roll a die of my choosing. So I would want to re-roll this 5 most likely. But it's static, so I need to, and it's not described in the rules here. I can go to the appendix, but I'm going to look it up, and then I will be back with a determination. So I will pause here. Okay, so when I pulled this card, I was supposed to actually put the dice here. So I can, so when I play this, or I spent 1 Gar token, which is this one, I get to re-roll one of these. Now right now he's at 6, 7, 8, and then 5 from this one up here, which puts him up to 13, minus these 2 from this thing is 11. And if he does 10 plus, he hits me for 3. So I am absolutely, when I spent this, I should have re-rolled one of these dice. So I'm going to re-roll this 5. And it's still a 5. So what I'll do is I'll spend another Gar token to try to re-roll that 5 again. And there we go. Now it's a 2, and I have 2 minus 2. So combat total at the moment is 3, 4, 5, plus 5 for 10, minus 4 for 6. That puts it in between the 2 to 9 range, which means he only does 2 damage to me, and I'm probably just going to take that, because I'm not going to be able to get it down to 1. If the die roll would have been 1, which is going to be, well, it's not going to be impossible, because I could always do enough -2s to get it there, but it's a losing battle at this point, I think. So that's the final sum, which is a 6, and that's between 2 and 9, so he does 2 damage to me. So what I will do is I will come over here to my board, and I will lose 2 health. So 1, 2. Now I'm down to 5 health. And we'll switch back over here. So that's the monster phase. Monster attack is now done. These tokens are gone. These dice essentially don't matter, and this card gets discarded. So now it's my attack phase. So the same, essentially, three, or I guess technically four phases. The fourth phase is the actual attack, like doing the damage. So same for the hero. Phase one is the before hero attack roll. If these monsters are never going to be able to really do anything on those rolls. Well, this curse is a -3, and it has the symbol, which is an arrow to the left. Um, so that means I have -3 to my attack roll at the moment. Um, so that takes effect now. Now I do my attack roll. So I will use my dice. I rolled a 6 and a 3. So my current total is 9 minus the 3 for him, or from his curse, which basically brings me back down to 6. And my range is 3 to 5, I do 1 damage. 6 to 10, I do 2 damage. And then 11 plus, I do 3 damage. He has 4 life, so I really need to. But if the only thing I can really do is re-roll that 3, and if I get lower, let's oh, +2 for that. So that cancels out. So it's only -1. So I'm actually at 8. So I might go for it to try to get the extra damage. I'll spend a Gar token. I'll re-roll this 3. Ah, I rolled a 1. So that's 1 plus this 2, so it's still 3 essentially. I could spend another one, but he's just gonna. No, I'll just keep it to that. That was a bad roll. So my total is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, -3 for 8. The range on my rusty sword, 6 to 10, so my 8 falls in that, and that's 2 damage. So I would take 2 of my my health or wound tokens, put them on his card. This guard token goes away. My dice come back, and that is the hero attack. And basically, we keep going. So, I could heal. I could, which, you know what? I think I will. I'll use, because I have, I can heal. Yep, it's a healing phase now. I can heal between when I attack and the monster attacks. So, monster's getting ready to attack. I can heal now. I will spend my healing potion. It heals me 2, and I'm just going to bump that up off camera, and I'll put that token back with the healing tokens. And now he has another attack. So we will draw another monster card. Total is 6, a 2 and a 4, and he has 2 Gar symbol tokens here, but he has no Gar symbol tokens to use. These silver cards with the silver back are discarded. So we will start a discard pile right there. Sure. Of used cards. Do I want to spend a Gar token to bring that down? I'm not going to really be able to bring it down low enough Actually, this is technically, this is a 2 and a 4. If I spend a Gar token, re-roll this to a 1, it would be 2 plus 1 for 3 minus 2 for the Gar token. Which would mean he would do no damage. But I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm just going to take this as a 6. Not going to play anything. I'll eat the 2 more damage that I just healed, so that's no big deal for me. And then we'll just move on. So that card gets discarded. Well, actually, it would be 6 plus the 2 for 8, but that still is only 2 damage to me, so I'm not completely worried about it. My turn again, so same deal. I could heal now if I wanted to. I don't have anything that I could heal with, but we'll roll. I got a 6 and a 2. Plus the 2 from there puts me at 10. And that will allow me to do 2 damage to this thing, which is enough to kill it. It has 4. It has 2 wounds already. I'll do the 2 more wounds from this. From the 8 plus the 2 from the Earth Elemental. Do 2 more wounds and kill this thing. So we'll bring my tokens back, my dice back. This I'll just set aside to remind me for later. So we'll flip this back over, and so we'll see my rewards are, so if I'm between 0 and 15, let me see if I can switch that camera back to autofocus, because this is annoying me. If it'll actually autofocus. Alright. Unifocus. There we go. Well, maybe not. There we go. The reward 0 to 15 reputation. I'm currently a 0 reputation, so I would get 2 reputation and a silver card. Whenever I gain a silver card also goes into the silver card cache for the monsters to use. And then this card gets discarded. I'll probably keep it as a trophy, so to speak. I think for points. So my reputation is going to go up, and that puts me at 2. And I get a silver card, so I get a silver card. I'll stash this over here, and then 1 goes into the cache. Additionally, on the hex here, where the enemy was, there is a gold coin with the number 3, so I get 3 gold coins. And that goes over here into my bank. And that is combat. I believe that's all there is to combat. Death of a monster. We got the rewards. The Die of Hope never went up. It is a hex with a merchants, so I put one of my trade tokens over here on top of the monster to indicate that I've cleared it. My trade token there. And that's the end of combat. So it's pretty straightforward. Now, essentially, other people could trade there. So if I have my trade token there, right? And other players could go there to trade, but because my trade token is there, they would have to pay me a coin to trade. Moving along, I have 5 life. I really want to go there. I do want to trade, so I'll spend my last action to trade there, and I'm gonna take I'm going to take the ore that I found here, and I would sell it, and I get 1 reputation. So if a number's in parentheses, that's its sell value. If it's not in parentheses, that's its purchase value. However, I just realized before I do that, I am up to 2 on the reputation, which means I could train as well, and I think I could do that at the same time as I trade. I think trading also consumes, yes, train ability. However, I have to pick my ability. So when you get to certain levels, so you'll see I have a stack of tiles off to the left here, and these are hero tiles. These are your upgrade tiles, and you'll see they have a number on them. So there's 2 2s, right? I hit 2 reputation. So when that happens, I take these 2 tiles, I flip them over, and since there's 2 of them, I have to choose one. So I can take the prospector. See if I can get this to focus. Come on. Why won't you focus? These cameras are not very good. There we go. So I can take prospector, which means whenever I mine, I draw 2 natural resources and keep 1, so I get to choose. Or I could take Furious Charge, which allows me to move up to 3 hexes in a straight line to reach a hex with a monster. And then if I use that ability, that monster has -2 to its combat roll. But I can't use it against elites, it looks like. I think that's what that symbol, or dragons, something like that. That symbol with the X down at the bottom. So I have to choose one of those 2. Furious Charge, 3 hexes, up to 3 hexes in a straight line to reach a monster. Or draw 2 natural resources and keep 1. I think I'll take the Furious Charge. And you'll see that it has the crystal ball symbol. So I have to match that in one of my slots over here that has the crystal ball. That could be up here, that could be here, or I could unlock these. I'm just going to stick it right here for right now. And then the other one, the prospector that I didn't use, that gets discarded. So it's not available to me anymore. Trading, yes. So I could train. That's going to cost me a gold to do that. So it doesn't go there yet. It just goes off to the side. When I hit the reputation for level 2, I look at those 2 tiles and I pick one and just set it aside. It becomes available to me to actually train. Now that I'm taking a trade action in a town here, I can spend 1 gold, which I have 3 of right now. I can spend 1 of these gold, and I will do so. I will spend it, and I will train that Furious Charge. And then I can also look at the area where I am. I'm going to sell. So I'm going to sell my ore for 3 more gold and a reputation. So I will take this and I will discard it. I will get 3 additional gold. Get the gold that I just spent. And then I get 1 more reputation, so that puts me up to 3 reputation. And reputation is sort of like points at the end of the game. Now, I have a total of 5 gold, so I can look and see if I can buy anything. There are 2 things that I could potentially buy. I'll pull them over here. So these are the 2 things I could potentially buy. Leggings on the left there, that increases my maximum health by 1. It has a socket for a ruby, a red gem, that I could socket in there if I get one. It'll cost me 2, and then if I ever sell it, I can get 1 coin for it. Or I can get the gem, the treasure chest over here, the gem case, which allows me to store 2 gems on it to be able to use, essentially, for their abilities. And that would cost me 5, and or I could sell it for 4. Cat. All right, now that cleanup is done from a wild cat attack, let's get back to trading. So these were my 2 options. This one's not terrible, but I might want to roll the die. So one option I could do while I'm here is, for free, I can cycle the 4 tiles in the market at this spot. I can cycle it additional times, but it costs me 1 gold after the first time per time I want to cycle it. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to roll the dice, see if I can get something. Man, those greaves are not bad though. I might. You know what? I'm gonna buy the greaves. Oh, but I got to pay a gold to unlock that first. You know what? I'm not gonna buy the greaves. I'm gonna cycle it for free, and then we'll see what we end up with. So we got 4 more tiles coming out here. We have a helm for 6. We have a throwing net, which is a instant attack ability. We have a sling, which is a instant attack ability, and we have a chest piece. I can only afford the sling or the throwing net, so let me pull those over here. Come on. Why aren't you focusing? There we go. So you see the lightning bolt symbol there. That means it's a first strike. So either one of these 2 would be first strike abilities, and it's in the top left. One costs 4, the other's 3. They are throwing items. That's the hatchet, so that would go in a specific slot on my character sheet. And then you can see if I roll a 5, 2, and 9, the monster attack is -2. If I do a 10 or higher, he takes a wound. And he's -2 for the sling. For the throwing net, it's -2 and -4, 5 to 9 and 10 plus. So I actually might want to, because I am going to be attacking. And I actually like the throwing net more than I do the sling for the -4. But the sling does an extra wound. I'll take the sling. So I'll put the throwing net back. I will spend, the sling costs 4. So I'll spend 4 of my newfound gold. And then that has a throwing axe symbol, which is only here. So that will go there. I will then, I'm going to reveal another tile here. And that was it's a sack that allows me to have 2 extra items. So that's trading. What else can I do while I'm trading? Purchase items, sell items, heal. Unveil hero tiles. That's unveiling is paying to unlocking them. Or no, that's unlocking it. What is unveil? You may also purchase any of your unveiled hero tiles. Oh, that are equipment. I see. Okay. Oh, unveiling is... So do I have to pay money to unveil those as well? Let me look. Oh yeah. So it was 1 gold to actually, and I have 1 gold left, so I'm still good. It was 1 gold to actually look at those 2 reputation tiles and pick one and unveil it. Then it's another gold to actually train it. No, I pay the training cost, which was none. So I should get that gold back. So I pay the gold to unveil the 2 tiles and look at them and pick one, and then it goes off to the side. And then if there's a cost associated with it, I can pay that cost to put it out on my board here. There's no cost associated with this one, so I just brought it right over. So I paid the 1 gold, which is what I had to pay to do what I did. I just paid it for the wrong thing. And then I also wanted to check combat. When they use the silver cards, do those go away? Play a card, monster attack. Yes, those silver cards will go away. Okay. I think that's about the end of my turn. I don't really. Oh, heal. I could. Well, I don't. I have 1 gold. How much could I heal? Heal was one of the actions. You may perform any of the following trades as many times as you wish. Change the offer, which heal. For 1 gold, you may heal your hero by the value depicted on the scenario / trade board. Okay, so the trade board says I could heal 5. I only have 2 wounds, so I think it's a waste at this point. So I'm not going to use that gold to heal. But yeah, I think that's it for my turn. So we will advance to round 3. A new silver cash card comes out at the beginning of the round, and then I get all these back to get ready to set up for another round. I didn't use anything. So at this point, yep, I'm ready to start the next round, which I am going to essentially stop here for the night and try to pick this up maybe tomorrow. I guess I'll make this a multi-parter video, but this was the first 2 rounds of a solo game, with sort of teaching it a little bit. Yeah, I thought the combat was going to be more fiddly than it was, which it might be if you have another player playing with you or against you. The way that works in multiplayer is one of the other players is determined at random to play against you as the monster. They have their own set of silver cards and gold cards. They might get more, and they sort of play like they're playing like they're attacking you, like they want to hurt you. It's not just like a automated thing they're going through. Like they can be somewhat powerful, or at least formidable, I guess. Formidable. But anyways, yeah, it looks so. Enjoying it so far. We'll see how the rest of it goes, and stay tuned for part 2.